Hello, everyone. This is Going Live with Global Learning. It is a very pleasant late October day, and my name is Darek Benesh. I'm Associate Dean in Global Learning, and today I'm joined by a special guest, my son, Julian. Julian, you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Julian Benesh. This is my second year at Kirkwood Community College. I'm studying digital media, and yeah.
Classes are going well
Yes,
so far? Great.
Excellent.
Great. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the unique aspects of maybe growing up. Tell me about the languages in your house growing up. Your mom speaks what? Your dad speaks what?
Yes. My dad speaks English, and my mom speaks Japanese.
And when did you realize that your upbringing was a little bit different from that of other kids?
Definitely when I started going to kindergarten, elementary school, kind of having interactions with other students and other people who weren't in my household. So, yeah.
And so kind of tell us about that situation in the home growing up. So what exactly, how does that work? What exactly did that look like?
Yeah, it was definitely unique. I only speak Japanese to my mom, and I only speak English to my dad, and I also only speak English to my siblings. And growing up, I have not spoken really any English to my mom, so yes.
And then likewise, she does not speak English to you.
Yes, she does not speak English to me.
Even though she does speak English, she
Yes,
does not
she
speak
speaks
English.
English. She can speak English, but just not to me.
And we were talking a little bit last night in preparation for this discussion today, and it was my memory that there was like one of the three kids was surprised at one point realizing that mom spoke English, but that you're thinking that was probably your sister instead of you.
I don't think it was me. I don't think it was me. I definitely, growing up, I knew that you guys were having conversations in English, and yeah, that was not new to me growing up.
Okay.
So I don't think I was surprised.
Okay. And then, so we're going to talk a little bit later here about like language inputs, but certainly your primary or only language input for large amounts of time is Japanese from your mom, but not really Japanese from other sources, except Japanese school and maybe some trips to Japan. So tell us about Japanese school. What is it? And then some trips to Japan and maybe how you use Japanese there.
Just to clarifying, Japanese school in terms of here or Japanese school in terms of
both?
Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So every Saturday I would go to Japanese school in Iowa City. That was kindergarten through 9th grade. I graduated in the middle of the pandemic. And that whole experience, it was very, very small classes. Maybe for me, it was just 2 people, 2-3 students in a classroom. The teachers were from Japan, and they would. The main difference between speaking with the teachers there and my mom at home was the sort of formal and informal context, and so that was sort of a challenge getting into that. But definitely I think the homework was the biggest sort of change from obviously going to school. In terms of actual Japanese school in Japan, I went in second grade, and that was a huge change from school in America because we would do so many different things in terms of culture, so many different things in terms of sort of, I want to almost say like we would clean the classrooms, we would do different things there. So yeah.
And I would say, just from my observation, as a parent, during the summers when you were in Japanese elementary school in Japan, when we were there for trips, my memory of that is, or my thinking of that is, that they weren't exactly prepared as a school or as teachers or as classes to dealing with folks whose first language is something other than Japanese. So did you feel kind of alienated, or were there a lot of attempts to include you?
It's a good question. Yeah, I think they weren't as staffed on welcoming in, not welcoming in, sort of being able to communicate with sort of someone who's from a completely other different culture, and I sort of had to adapt in my own way. But they were really helpful, and in second grade I only knew a certain amount of Japanese. They definitely knew way more than I did, and so adjusting to that was pretty difficult. But I didn't think that they weren't as welcoming, I guess. But I would say that they were maybe short-staffed in that regard.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so bilingualism, right? Knowing two languages certainly has to do with speaking and understanding two languages, but that's, of course, achieved by certain amount of language inputs. And something we were talking about last night was, that you're pretty much your only language input of Japanese right now is from mom. So, and you were also mentioning about kind of the register of language just going from high school to college, right? So in your assessment, how much at this particular age or at this particular time, how much English do you know compared with Japanese?
Yeah, the ratio, like I talked about last night, definitely way less Japanese and way more English in terms of not only knowing the grammar, but also terminology, vocabulary. Like you said, I talked about going to college even in terms of just English, not even talking about Japanese. It was definitely I was exposed to it was like a whole nother language kind of, in that there were so many new words. But in terms of how much English I know, in comparison to how much Japanese I know, I think the ratio is definitely 2-to-1 English, way more than Japanese. Not that I can't have conversations with people in Japan, but there are definitely a lot of words that I don't know, Japanese words that I don't know, and that's very challenging. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, to get that, you would have to have similar experiences within a Japanese context, right?
Yeah.
So going to college in Japan, for example, to get the same kind of levels there. So that's just something interesting to think about. What are or have been some positives of growing up in a bilingual home?
I think the biggest one is I think it's really cool to get to know a whole another language and a whole another culture. it really gives you a whole nother perspective. I think in terms of actually being able to speak Japanese, I think when different people sort of ask you to speak Japanese, you can do it. Maybe my favorite one is with anime being very popular, people will always be like, are they really saying this? Is the subtitles really lining up with this? And they'll come and ask me, which I think is, sometimes it can get annoying, but it's pretty cool that I can do that. And that's because of growing up in this way, and even going to school has taught me how to, read and write Japanese. So people coming to ask me, what does this say? And I can say it. That's really cool. So yeah, those are a couple of the perks of being able to have a whole nother language.
Yeah, thanks. And what have been some challenges of growing up in a bilingual home?
I think one of the biggest challenges is that I guess having to go to another school. And I know, in retrospect, having to go to Japanese school was amazing, and I'm very glad and fortunate to have had that opportunity. But during childhood, it was really a stressful sort of experience for me, having to balance out the homework, and it's a really big task in itself, maintaining a language, especially during childhood, maintaining two different languages at the same time, at that same rate. So I think that's maybe the biggest challenge that I've had with that.
And currently, you find yourself in Japanese school again, but in a different way. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. I went back to the same Japanese school that I was taught at, and now I am teaching Japanese at the second grade level. I have 2 students, and that's been a really fun experience, and it's let me kind of get back into the flow of Japanese. It's another way to enhance that language, and it's another way to continue to speak, listen, write, and read Japanese, and it's been a really good experience so far.
Great. And I know, just like other teachers in the country and throughout the world, perhaps, I know that after you teach, you have to write kind of a summary and a lesson plan and share it with parents afterward. That's the additional work of teaching.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, great. Lastly here, I'm wondering if you might speak to perhaps some folks who might be watching this, who live in Japan, who might be considering Kirkwood as a place to continue their studies.
Yes. 日本の皆さん、ぜひカーコッドコミュニティコレッジに来てください。ここは本当に素敵な場所だと思います。みんな勉強できることもたくさんありますので、お待ちしています。
Great. Thank you so much, Julian.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This has been an edition of Going Live with Global Learning.